In this video, we're going to look at how a vendor registers as a supplier for a specific buyer organization in Zumen. There are 3 steps in this process. 1. The supplier creating an account in Zumen. This is applicable only for vendors who are not in Zumen. 2. The supplier completing the registration form. And finally, a designated approver in the buyer organization approving the request. First, let's look at the steps to create an account for a supplier company in Zumen. On the Zumen sign-in page, click Login as Supplier, and then click Register. In Name of Legal Entity, enter the full name of the supplier company. Enter the name, email address, and mobile number of the primary contact person from the supplier company. The person will be granted administrator access to Zumen. Click Add More Contact to include additional staff from the supplier company, who will be granted administrator access to Zumen. Select Agree to Terms and Conditions and click Create Account. An email notification with the OTPs and a link is sent to all the admin contacts. Click the link in the email notification, enter the OTPs, create a password, and click Create Account. The supplier account should be successfully created in Zumen. Next, let's look at how a supplier completes the registration form. On the Zumen sign-in page, click Login as Supplier, enter the email address, which was provided during account creation, and the password that you just created, and click Login. Click Plant Zonal Offices. Enter the address, location ID, and legal name of your company. And click Save. Hover over the left navigation menu and click Buyer List. Click Request New Account. From the drop-down list, select the buyer company's name. The sections in the supplier registration form are displayed. Click the Add icon to expand supplier general details and enter details about the main business unit such as company name and address, date of incorporation, company registration number, nature of business, company and industry, and management contact details. Click Validate to check if mandatory fields have been completed. Expand supplier business details and enter details about other business units location-wise, such as address, name, and primary contact details. Also, enter details of additional contact persons. You can also upload pictures of the plant here. Click Validate to check if mandatory fields have been completed. Next, expand tax and bank account information. In the Tax IDs section, enter your company's tax details based on your country's tax system. Click Add Another Tax IDs if you want to add tax IDs for another legal entity. In Supplier Bank Details, enter your company's bank details. Expand the next section. In Major Business Partners, enter the names of your main suppliers and buyers. Use a comma to separate the names. In Supplier Business Details, enter your company's total financials for a year. Click Add Row to add the financials for another year. In Personnel Details, enter the number of staff in your company by category. In Product and Quality, enter details about your product, production and quality equipment, and certifications. In Warranty Details, enter details about your warranty policy. In Supplier Logistics, enter your logistics details. In Product Roadmap, attach your short-term, mid-term, or long-term product plan. In Non-Disclosure and Additional Documentation, upload the Non-Disclosure Agreement, or NDA, which is a legally binding contract signed by the buyer and supplier agreeing that sensitive information will not be made available to any third party. Click Review and Submit, and review the details entered. To save the form, click Save as Draft and close. To edit the draft later, hover over the left navigation menu and click Buyer List. Click Drafts and click Open against the relevant draft. Expand the relevant section and enter or modify details as required. Click Review and Submit, and review the details entered. To proceed, click Submit. The request is routed to the approver in the buyer organization designated for supplier registration in admin. Finally, let's look at how the approver approves the registration request. Go to Menu, Supplier Management, Approve, New Supplier Registration. Hover over the relevant pending request and click View Data. Review the data in the registration form. After reviewing, go to Menu, Supplier Management, Approve, New Supplier Registration. If you want to send back the request to the requester, hover over the relevant request and click Send Back. Else, click Approve to approve the supplier registration request. An email notification is sent informing the supplier that the request has been approved. The supplier can now submit quotations for RFQs received from the buyer.